So
pleasing.
this may not go over as well as we thought it would initially because of uh
He's scaring.
He's yeah, it's
anywho, let's talk about sessions of D&D or some other TTRPG that instead of having an epic combat or a puzzle or a group kumbaya session, you have a shopping trip.
Shopping
You can
sessions.
probably explain it a little better than I just did there because it sounds really boring from my description.
So there's several actual plays out there, most notable of which is
Critical
Critical Role, where they do 4-hour streams once a week, and they have been known to do a complete 4 hours of shopping.
yeah.
And it's kind of enjoyable to watch. And the reason is because they're not just shopping, there's role play going on, and sometimes story advancement is going on.
Yeah.
You know, we just talked about equipment, and you talked about, you know, as you go on and your character grows, builds, that you go and have something special made, right? Those are all shopping episodes. And I mean, I know at our table we have spent probably an hour in town.
Right.
That was just, how much is it going to cost me to get 6 healing potions? Don't I get a break on that for buying in bulk? You know,
Yeah.
those kind of things. So to make a full session, first of all, it can be fun.
You can.
It requires a DM that's willing to role play the shopkeepers and player characters that are willing to role play their character instead of just saying, well, in
All
the
right, I'll take
book,
one
this
of
is
these.
45 gold pieces, but if I turn in my other thing, how much money would I get out of that?
Yeah.
And really role play it out. And it can be a lot of fun.
Our group is generally about the same size as the Critical Role group. So if we did that, it would be a 4-hour session.
Right. We just don't play as regularly as they do.
Yeah. So we don't tend to do that as much in one big block, but there's a lot of mini sessions.
Right. Well, when we used to play more regularly, we did have essentially shopping sessions where it wasn't just shopping, but to me, shopping sessions isn't just going shop to shop, but sometimes it's, like you said, story.
It's downtime activities.
It's downtime activities. It's, you know, the cleric wants to go visit their temple. The monk wants to spend the 8 hours to go through and learn this new move. Or
Nico wants to go learn how to cook some more.
yeah, I did that. One of my characters went and spent like time with the local tavern person to learn how to cook so that she could not suck as the ship's cook.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Right.
Here?
What is that
Cook.
word for somebody who cooks? Oh yeah, a cook. But we did some of that where it was like you guys would go to town and you would talk to the shopkeepers and you would do your shopping and all that stuff. But then you would also be like, well, I want to stop by the Hall of Records and see if we can find anything about this wizard, or you know, I want to see if they have like down at the local tavern they have like maybe a map of the area. So to me it's not so much shopping. It's that ambiance filler, like the smoking pipe. To me, that's would also be considered part of a shopping episode, is that ambiance that kind of just builds the world and makes it feel more full, not just slay this, move to here, slay that, slay this. Like it helps you kind of fill in those gaps in between. I love those kind of things. I love that ambiance filler. Just gives you time to explore your character and how they react to just a little old lady shopkeep selling sweets that put you to sleep, and then you have to not get eaten by her. I turned a shopping episode into a combat encounter one time, and that was great.
You certainly did.
I loved that.
All of those characters now have PTSD from croissants.
Yeah, this little old lady was like, do you want it? This was sweet rolls, I think. Do you want a sweet roll? And then they were all like, I was like, okay, make constitution saves. They're like, but she was so nice.
And I remember you texted everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the text and looking up and being like, hey guys, we got to get more of those sweet rolls.
Right.
And that was like one of the first times I remember like actually jumping into some role play.
Yeah, that was a game where you kind of started learning to role play because basically, if they failed the Constitution saving throw, they became like ravenous for the sweet rolls. Like they had to get more, and they had to convince other people to eat them.
You've got to try these.
You have to eat it now. And like John got into it, he really did because he was like, "Oh, you mean I get to fuck some other people's shit up? Done." That was a great one, but I consider that part of the shopping thing because I'll be honest, it didn't drive the story in any way. It was just a fun thing to do.
Fun.
I enjoy that. I like that.
You and Hannah had a bit of a ritual too in the Salt Marsh campaign where there was a trinket seller.
Yeah, we loved that one. There's like odd, weird things, and then you had like a table, like a 1D100 table.
It's in the book.
And we would just be
Trinket
like,
table.
I want to buy something. And you'd be like, what do you want to buy? I'm like, I don't know. What do I find?
Roll a D100.
A 42.
That was kind of interesting because sometimes you would get nothing remarkable, and sometimes you would get something that didn't seem remarkable at first glance, but
that's a great way to do a shopping trip that furthers the story, because even if you tell me like roll a D100, you don't have to give me what's on that list. If you need to give, because I think one of y'all did give me a piece of something I needed. It was either in your campaign or one of yours, I can't remember. Something that drove the story. You just, supplanted it in where and it was like, huh, like, and so that's a great way to drive the story in like a little trinket shop, I think those are really cool. I love that.
I think you have experienced this, John, as the DM. It seems like there was a couple of times when us as players were just real dickish about it.
Oh, yeah, everything.
We want to get bargain prices. We want to get... We're buying this, and this. So will you throw this in free? It's like I just have this vague memory of being like really too pushy about trying to get things for free.
I find we do that in temples a lot. Like we do a little donation, like a singular gold piece, and then we're like, so are you going to heal all of us, all 7 of us, for free now? And you're like, no, and you're like, oh, but I donated.
It's kind of understandable as long as it's in character. Like if you have the party cleric going into a shop and being a complete ass,
like roughing them up,
trying to get some stuff for free when they're lawful good, like it's a little bit different. But the goblin, like, of course the goblin's gonna be like, free stuff,
give me. Yeah, I think shopping trips, like, I don't think you should do them all the time. You can't do them like every other session or else it's like not fun. But I think in our games, we've just gotten away from buying things for the most part. Like, we don't really spend our gold on anything. I think my character has like a fuck ton of gold because it's very much a wilderness campaign, the one that you've got going on. Like, we haven't spent a lot of time in actual towns. So
there were plenty of times we found ourselves with a lot of gold in our pockets and no healing potions in which we'd done more shopping.
And then that's literally all we do. We're like, how many healing potions can I get?
But when we started the campaign, we had 3 people capable of healing. And one of them just wouldn't do it, but she was 10, so...
That's fair. Attractive or interesting. Thank you, Google.
The Google Assistant in the next room apparently keyed on something you said.
Apparently. Where was I? Because I'm going to have to edit this out.
3 people that could do healing.
Oh. Last campaign, we, at the beginning of it, had 3 people that could heal. One of them didn't do much because she was 10 and that wasn't how she wanted to play her druid. The cleric sometimes would either go down or forget. The paladin, I don't think he's still fairly new. So he's not like, oh, I could heal that person until it's like really dire. So,
and it's always a bit off topic, but with the cleric and the paladin, not those specifically, but just in general, that decision that you have to make, am I going to forego an attack this round to heal somebody? And, that what is more critical at this point? And it's one of the reasons I don't think I like to play clerics is because I like to know I'm going to attack this round. But if I heal them, I don't get it. But if I did an attack, I might could put this guy down, and then the whole world looks better anyway. And then we can get to this guy. It's tough work.
That's kind of one thing I liked about playing a druid, because in wild shape you can't. So they know if they go down while you're in wild shape, it's gonna have
Shit,
to
oh,
wait.
look. But with shopping, like so you can also look at like getting your squishier members enchanted
armor.
items that allow them to have these options to not die. And that becomes something that is really fun to work through. Is like, okay, you are slow as fuck, you little halfling. You're gonna have to get some boots to make you faster because the rest of us have a speed of 30 and you are at 20, and I'm gonna need you to go faster. Like just little shit like that. Like it's great.
I did enjoy that in Saltmarsh, researching what items I would like to pester the magic item finder person in your campaign for. Like, I think I got the Dragon Claw pendant, which made my wild shape attacks magical
Yeah,
for
you did have
resistance
that.
purposes.
Jesus
then-
Christ, I just gave away the farm.
You did.
And then we got a cloak of the mantis.
Yeah,
Or
that thing
something
was
like that.
For
epic.
breathing underwater.
For
Yeah,
water
and you got a
breathing.
swim speed.
And then I ended up giving that one away because I
Cloak of the Manus, though, was bounty booty found
Yeah.
in some.
Are you sure?
Well, Tim
No,
got a
not
helm.
now that you said it like that.
Tim got a helm.
I think it was
that was
helm
the
that
helm I'm
was.
thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, and then you got the Mandus, and then you ended up giving it to somebody else.
I gave it to your mom because she was the only one of us that couldn't water breathe at that point through
One
some
other means, yeah.
Because I could wild shape into an octopus, like water breathing wasn't a problem for me, and we had to do the underwater entry to the old lizard folk lair.
Folk. But yeah, I think we should do more
It's tough as a DM,
dedicated.
though, when the request and shopping is for magical items.
Yeah.
You can break the balance of, especially if you're playing like Saltmarsh, modules. Roll the dice. Okay, sure enough, he's got a +2 sword, or he's got this or that or whatever. We had this discussion a couple weeks ago about, challenge ratings and balancing encounters. You can really throw off the balance a lot of stuff by having too much available at magic shops, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be kind of careful with that. Probably, I don't know, maybe you just say in a magic shop, except for like hundreds of $1,000s, you're not going to find anything more than common magic items or whatever.
I think it's Don John.
And the rest of it's got to be found while you're
Right.
out there.
Doing things.
But I think it's definitely worth as a DM to take note. Like if you have a character who's constantly looking for a specific item, take note. And when they start really like being awesome, reward them with it. Like obviously they really want it, but I think Don John has a magic shop generator, and it will give you some items that's in a magic shop. I used to use that a lot, and then always tack on a couple extra healing potions or something that I think you guys would need. But that way there was some things that I don't think you need, but there's like a potion of, feather fall or some shit. And one of y'all's like, actually, that sounds baller. I'm going to buy that. And I'm like, for what? And then 3 sessions later, oh, that's what for.
Yeah, I
I'm going to
think
jump off a cliff.
I think that's going too far. Single-use magic items are really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because the chances of them breaking the rest of the module are very
Slim.
but
they might
could-
break one session.
right.
Unless it's like a scroll that the wizard copies into their
That
book.
bastard wizard.
Yeah, I'm always pretty light with scrolls and things like that because, like, that could come back to bite you in the ass.
I did try to do a little due diligence in the Saltmarsh campaign and make sure it wasn't something that was game breaking I was asking for. Like, at the time I got the pendant, everybody else was getting their +1 stuff too. So it kind of just put me on that level. And
No, we
water
just like to
breathing
make fun
was,
of you for breaking the games.
I know.
You don't actually, like, I think statistically break them any more than any of the rest of us do. It's just
Probably
funnier
even
when you,
less.
yeah, it's just funnier when you do.
Right, because you go big.
You do, and you get
The
this little,
dolphin.
You get this little shit-eating grin on your face.
That one right
That
there.
right there, that's it. Where you just look at the DM and you're like trying to not laugh. You're like, okay, so hear me out.
I have a rules question.
And then the whole table just like puts away their stuff. Like, we're gonna be here a minute.
Right. About the time they're finished closing up their notebooks and whatever is about the time the DM has finished his eye roll.
Like, oh god,
Okay, don't wanna-
what do you want?
I think shopping episodes are fun. You just got to be real sparse with them. And it doesn't have to be a whole episode, right? It's not like the whole session if you're playing a home game.
As much
But-
as your characters
but-
need.
There's shopping that's going to happen. You can make your game better if you role play that shopping as characters. And as a DM, to your point, Emily, if you find ways that you can put little story seeds
In there.
in there.